These days, Zac Efron can't go out in public without getting screamed at.
I'm in love with Zac Efron. Zac Efron?
Zac Efron. We love Zac!
Even red-hot Transformers star Megan Fox is a fan.
Zac Efron is my obsession. He's here.
So, what's so special about him?
It's just that. He's gorgeous. His hair, everything about him is gorgeous. It's just Zac Efron.
He's such a sweet guy. You know, he's completely normal and he's just great.
And Vanessa Hudgens should know. After all, she's the co-star who started dating the High School Musical heartthrob before he became an international teen icon. It's hard to believe, but Zachary David Alexander Efron, whose friends call him Hollywood, wasn't always such a big hit with the ladies. Back in high school, he was teased for being short and used to have to chase the girls to get them to go out with him. Born on October 18, 1987, into a middle-class Californian family, Zac has a younger brother called Dylan. He describes his childhood as normal, although he spent most of his teenage years learning to act and juggle, appearing in many local theater productions before being signed up by an A-list talent agent. By the time he left school in 2006, he'd already featured in movies like Melinda's World and Miracle Run. But when he deferred his enrollment at the University of California to appear in a little Disney TV film, he had no idea it would become a smash hit. In fact, Zac has since confessed that when he won the part of Troy Bolton, no one was expecting great things of High School Musical, despite the fact that it was to be directed by acclaimed choreographer Kenny Ortega. There was little or no hype during filming, but as soon as it hit the airwaves, it went nuclear, becoming the most successful Disney Channel original movie release of all time, with 7.7 million viewers for the year. Co-starring Vanessa Hudgens as Troy's love interest, Gabriela Montez, the story of two love-struck high school juniors from rival groups captured teenage hearts all over the globe. Within a matter of weeks, 2 songs from the movie soundtrack went gangbusters on the charts. Breaking Free, Zac's duet with Vanessa, rose from number 85 to number 4 in just 2 weeks, making it the fastest climb in the history of the Billboard charts. By August 2006, the album had been certified triple platinum, and Zac Efron was an international sensation. In 2007, he was included in People magazine's list of 100 most beautiful people.
Oh, it's ridiculous. We're so blessed to even be a part of the project. I can't believe it. You know, we all just decided to go make a good teen movie, and watching it take off has been a dream come true. It's fantastic. Can't believe it.
The runaway success of the film brought so much attention from female fans that Zac had to change his phone number. High School Musical mania had also transformed the lives of Zac's fellow cast members. At the London premiere, co-stars Ashley Tisdale, Monique Coleman, and Corbin Bleu were all pinching themselves.
The amount of success and the phenomenal success that High School Musical has gained, none of us could have really expected it. And I mean, who knew that we'd end up coming to London, and we went to Australia, and we went to the Emmys, and we won, and the movie, the DVD sales went through the roof. It was #1 on the billboards twice in the States. It's just, the success has just been absolutely incredible, and we're all very, very grateful.
Although Vanessa refused to confirm that she had fallen for Zac in real life, she did admit that things had changed since making the film.
It's just made things way more chaotic. I mean, before I'm so used to just sitting around at home, just kind of doing absolutely nothing, looking for my next job. And now I wake up to paparazzi outside my house, following me where I go, and not really being able to go to the malls because the girls will follow me and not let me go anywhere. And I mean, that's the crazy part. I'm very thankful for my fans though, because without them I would not be here.
For all of the fame and fortune High School Musical brought its young stars, it wasn't all smooth sailing for 19-year-old Zac, who was a little embarrassed by the belated revelation that another singer's voice had been blended in with his on the movie's soundtrack. Zac defended himself in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine in 2007, explaining that the songs had been written for a tenor, making some of the notes a bit of a stretch for his baritone voice. Certainly, Zac had been no stranger to singing on stage. As a young teenager, he'd worked in a theater called the Great American Melodrama and Vaudeville, appearing in musicals like Gypsy, Little Shop of Horrors, and The Music Man.
I was raised on musicals. They were a huge part of my growth and development.
Thankfully, he was given the chance to regain his pride by performing all of his own vocals in the musical remake of the John Waters classic, Hairspray. Writers Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman, who'd collaborated on the Broadway version, even wrote a new song especially for Zac. For Zac, playing the part of teen star Link Larkin felt a little like art imitating life.
A little bit. You know, Link is, of course, it takes place in the 60s, so Link is a lot more Elvis than me, you know. But, you know, it was fun to play that character that kind of brings the cool vibe to the movie, and I really dig characters like that. When I was young, that was the type of character that always stole the show for me, so I really looked forward to playing Link.
One of the highlights of starring in the high-octane musical remake was getting to work with the legendary star of 70s musical Grease, John Travolta.
We're in the middle of a dance rehearsal, and behind me there was like a pandemonium, and a crowd started to form behind me. Of course, I fight my way to the middle, and who else is there but John in his Edna costume? And he was shaking his booty, he was grooving, he was laughing, he was talking in character. And right then, as we watched John become Edna, I think that was where the cast collectively realized we could do this. We could pull off Hairspray one more time. You know? It was a great moment.
While John was pulling on the fat suit for the part of Edna Turnblatt, Zac was piling on real pounds to play chunky hunk Link Larkin. The story goes that he had to gain 15 pounds for the role. Thankfully, it all turned out to be worth it. Hairspray was a hit, but Zac barely had time to read the glowing reviews before getting back out on the road to promote the DVD of High School Musical 2 in August 2007. Since debuting on the Disney Channel, the sequel had smashed all viewing records for basic cable TV by accumulating a staggering audience of 17.24 million viewers. At the LA premiere, Zac had a chance to reflect on the phenomenon that had transformed him from unknown high school graduate to global superstar.
High School Musical is everything, you know, for me. It got me started. This is the only reason that I'm sure that you even want to interview me. So I'm very grateful. How could I be anything but? And looking forward to going back and having fun a third time. It really is just a dream come true to make these films, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Even though it had been 18 months since they'd been thrown together on the set of the first film, Vanessa still wasn't giving anything away about her rumored real-life romance with her on-screen sweetheart.
No, I mean, High School Musical has given me so much. It's given me a whole bunch of fans. It's given me amazing relationships. And, I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for High School Musical. And I just think back, and I couldn't imagine life without it, I guess.
However, a few months later, she finally confirmed what everyone already knew by admitting that she and Zac had been an item since filming the first High School Musical. Although not everyone was convinced that the couple would stay together.
I predict that Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens will break up because she's a troublemaker and he's too pretty to stay with her for that long.
However, all the gloomy predictions proved to be well wide of the mark when Disney confirmed their support of the young star. And in early 2008, shots of her and Zac getting cozy on set turned up in the gossip pages. During a press conference during filming in Salt Lake City, they were clearly still the best of friends.
I know I couldn't wait to get back here and start this movie. And also, I kind of think of it as the third act to, you know, High School Musical. So we're thrilled to bring it back.
And while Vanessa refused to comment on their real-life relationship, she did hint that the on-screen romance between Troy and Gabriella could be about to move to the next level.
Our characters are growing, and we're growing as people, and we're making tougher decisions, like Zac said. And you definitely see relationships blossom. I'm not going to give it away, but it's really good.
With High School Musical 3 headed for a theatrical release in October, Zac found himself rocketing up the charts of the world's most popular male celebrities. In 2007, he'd been voted Choice Male Hottie at the Teen Choice Awards. While hosting the Nickelodeon Australian Kids' Choice Awards, he also took home an award for being so hot right now. But now that he'd reached the grand old age of 20, he was mixing it with the big boys, and on People magazine's poll in 2008, he came in at number 4 on the list of sexiest men alive, behind Hugh Jackman, Daniel Craig, and Jon Hamm. Almost overnight, Zac Efron had been elevated from the rank of teen idol to mainstream Hollywood heartthrob. But at the premiere of High School Musical 3, he could still relate to the struggles of making it to adulthood.
You know, the challenges of growing up. They're turning into adults. They've got to make decisions for themselves. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations of kids in high school. And that's what we get to do in High School Musical, sing about it.
He and Vanessa felt that the series about life in high school had given teenage fans something they could relate to.
Kids all over the world are finding some way to connect with the characters and what they're going through.
Basically becoming a young adult, you know, everything you have to go through with facing your parents and your relationships, trying to choose a job and college, you know, it's a lot, it's a tough time.
Although Zac had to admit that his own school days in Arroyo Grande hadn't been quite as action-packed as his time at East High School.
It was less exciting. I was a very average high school student. So I'm glad to be portraying an exciting time in high school.
And certainly there was nothing average about Zac's life now. He'd made it onto Forbes' Celebrity 100 list after earning almost $6 million in a single year, and he and Vanessa came in at number 1 on FoxNews.com's list of favorite couples. A year that had started out with Zac being rushed to hospital to have his appendix removed had ended with him being offered $8 million to star in a remake of the 80s musical hit Footloose. After initially accepting the offer, however, he made the tough decision to back out of the deal.
I mean, I was definitely looking forward to it. But it just came down to the fact that I was looking for something new and different.
His decision to take a break from musicals had taken a lot of soul-searching.
No, it's not that I'm tired of musicals, and I'm not trying to move away from them. It's just that, I've done that. I feel like High School Musical made a fantastic impact on the world of musicals and that genre. And I'm ready to take on something new. I'm looking for a new challenge.
He made it clear, however, that he wasn't trying to distance himself from the phenomenon that had made him a household name.
High School Musical was the absolute perfect way to get introduced into this business. We did nothing but have fun for 3 years straight. It was in no way work. So, when they were successful, that felt like exactly what we wanted to promote. And we were absolutely proud to put out those movies because they were so much fun to make. But then at the same time, this is a crucial moment. Now that that's done, I'm looking for new challenges and a new direction to go.
He found it in the shape of Mike O'Donnell in the comedy 17 Again, in which a frustrated 37-year-old father of 2 makes a wish to relive his youth and finds himself back in the body of his 17-year-old self.
At 17, he has all these hopes and dreams for the future, and when he's 37 years old, he realizes, or he feels that he accomplished very little. When he goes back to being 17 again, he realizes that his life was great, and he had, been a fantastic father, and he had created a beautiful family, and he wants it back. He realizes that he was living the good life.
For Zac, playing a high school basketball star took him back to the days of captaining the East High basketball team in the HMS series. But the physical training for 17 Again ended up being much more intense.
Training that much, I don't know. I did work a lot for the basketball and stuff in the movie, so, basketball is 90% running. You forget that, but it's really just running back and forth, so I was pretty skinny in this 17 Again.
In the film, revisiting his youth gives Mike a chance to go back and do a few things differently. And at a press conference in Tokyo, Zac was asked whether he would like to rewrite his own history.
If I could go back today, I can't say that I would change anything big necessarily, because I feel like even the biggest mistakes I made in life made me who I am today and got me where I am, and I learned a lot from those mistakes. But I think if I could go back, I'd probably change the small stuff. You know, there's probably a couple tests I could go back and ace. A couple girls I would go back and talk to. I might rethink my tux that I wore to the prom. You know, the essentials.
Friends star Matthew Perry, who played Zac's older alter ego, was very impressed with his young co-star and believed he would have very little to look back on with regret.
It's nice to watch him go through this. He's a smart kid, and he's got his head on his shoulders, and, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting time for him, but he seems to be, I don't think he's, like, in need of too much advice about it, He's, a good guy.
Zac also got to share the screen with comic actress Leslie Mann, who plays Mike's wife.
I've had a crush on Leslie since I was probably about 10 years old. And when she said that she would do the movie and play my wife, I was thrilled. I was like, I think that's what I would like to see in my wife eventually. She's beautiful and amazing and hilarious. And am I being crazy right now? I'm sorry.
And Leslie was equally gushing about Zac.
My daughter Maud, who was 10 at the time, said, "Mom, you have to do this. You have no choice. You're going to do this movie." And I wanted to also. And she, because she's in love with Zac, and she had his picture and still does, pasted all over her room, and he called on her 10th birthday to wish her a happy birthday and talked to her for like 10 minutes. Sweet.
According to her real-life husband, writer, and director, Judd Apatow, Leslie's appreciation of Zac's charms had been the cause of a few arguments at home. At a party in early 2009, he joked about the 21-year-old actor's inclusion on Time magazine's annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world.
He influenced her.
He did.
To get all sexy-eyed. I'm not happy with Zac. He enjoyed my wife a little too much.
Has he been through?
We might have some fisticuffs tonight. He knows he's not coming because I'm here.
In fact, Zac was busy touring the world to promote the film he and Leslie had starred in. As he made his way to press conferences and premieres of 17 Again, it would be up to the fans to decide whether or not Zac had nailed his first post-high school musical project.
I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in this movie.
At the UK premiere in March 2009, he was cheered on by a mass of screaming teenage girls who didn't need to see the movie to give him rave reviews.
It's obvious that you're here for Zac Efron. Yeah. Why do you love him so much?
Because he's really fit. He's like so fit.
But what about his acting talents?
He's good at acting, and he just like brings like a nice vibe to everyone, and he seems like a really nice person just to be with.
But outside the Odeon at Leicester Square, the humble heartthrob revealed he hadn't been too confident about how it would all turn out.
Initially I was a little bit scared. I didn't know what to think about playing a 37-year-old guy. I was like, is this really the next thing I should be doing? But as I read the script and it all shaped up, it actually turned into the most appealing role out there. This is not a typical high school role, which is kind of all I could get at the time. I'm playing a dad, a father, which I have virtually no experience at. And it was a trip. It was fun.
And now that the film was out there, he was really having a ball. In the US, 17 Again debuted at #1 in its opening weekend. And over at the Berlin premiere, his screaming fans really gave his ears a workout.
It's a lot at once, but I'm just happy that they are, excited to be here. Not everyone can say that they have such a devoted fan base, so.
What do you do for ear protection?
For ear protection, ear push-ups. Helps you get ready.
He was feeling a lot of love from his German fans.
Definitely say, I'll be coming back to see you very soon. I love you all very much. Enjoy the movie.
While Zac was lapping up the adoration from his fans, Vanessa was hard at work filming her next project, Band Slam, a romantic comedy about a group of unlikely friends who form a rock group.
I play Sam, the 5 is silent. She's a little different, you know? She's a bit more introverted and deadpan, and she's just a fun character for me to play. I get to rock out at the very end of the movie with a flying V, so I had fun.
For the first time in 4 years, the young couple were spending long periods apart and working on separate film projects. Gossip columnists were on the hunt for signs that the relationship could be cooling off. Zac certainly seemed to be having a whale of a time out on his own, and told one interviewer he didn't want to get married until he was 40. Clearly, he was enjoying his freedom.
I'm so excited. This is the first time in a couple years that I haven't had a game plan, and it feels amazing. You know, I don't know exactly what's coming next, but it's going to be interesting.
But once again, rumors of an impending split were wildly exaggerated. Much to the disappointment of Zac Efron fans all over the world, he and Vanessa were still very much an item when they turned up at the MTV Awards in June, along with the rest of the High School Musical gang. Zac was feeling a little nostalgic.
I can't believe it, man. This could be the last time we're all together. You know, I'm really excited. At an awards show, we see each other all the time. But it's shaping up to be awesome, dude. I got my fingers crossed for us.
Zac ended up taking out the MTV Music Award for Best Male Performance. That pat on the back augured well for the upcoming release of a film he'd made back in early 2008. In Me and Orson Welles, he played a teenager, hired by the legendary director to appear in a production of Julius Caesar. The film was released in the US in November to great reviews, paving the way for his next big acting adventure as the star of the fantasy romance film, The Death and Life of Charlie St. Cloud. While many teen stars have fallen by the wayside in their attempts to make it as adult actors, Zac seems to have survived the transition and is well on his way to sealing his status as a leading man in mainstream Hollywood. No doubt that success has a lot to do with some very smart decisions, like turning down the lead in Footloose and seeking career advice from other former teenage stars, like his own personal idol, Leonardo DiCaprio. Determined not to fall into the hard partying trap that has derailed many of his peers, Zac always makes a point of appearing well-groomed in public. And aside from his ongoing relationship with Vanessa, he's so far managed to keep his private life private.
You know, I have 2 separate lives. There's really Zac in front of the camera, and then there's me off camera. And, you know, you could turn it on when you need to.
And whenever he's in front of the cameras, he takes his responsibility as a role model very seriously and never forgets what he owes to his legions of screaming fans.
Those are my fans. Those are the people that I want to impress, the people that I want to make great movies for. So it's a pleasure to get out and be able to thank them, you know, at least by showing up and smiling for them. And I mean, if that's as hard as it gets, then bring it on, man.